This is CBS.
This late word tonight, the strike against the Kroger stores here is over. A settlement tonight. Sports and cigarettes, cigarettes and sports. If the nation's top doctor has his way, that relationship will end. And they're letting the good times roll in Galveston tonight. It's Mardi Gras. We'll go there live. Weekend weather, the rodeo, and late sports on 11 News tonight.
I've owned 6 Toyotas. That's years of maintenance-free driving. These cars just keep going. 3 of these Toyotas were Celicas, and after the second, I really thought I'd never find a better car. Until I saw the 1990 Celica, a gorgeous car. Front-wheel drive keeps me going in any kind of weather. The 1990 Celica is the best automobile that I have ever owned. I absolutely love it.
Toyota quality pays for itself. That's why it pays to see your Toyota dealer now.
The fun continues Saturday as Galveston celebrates Mardi Gras and Carnival do Brasil. Rock to the rhythm of Joe King Carrasco at 11:30 at Old Galveston Square Balcony. Then twist to the tunes of Chubby Checker at 1:30. Or head down the street to hear the strains of the Philadelphia Mummers at noon at 25th and Strand. TSU's Ocean of Soul keeps the carnival times rolling at 3 at 25th and Strand. Brought to you by Miller Beer and Channel 11.
This week on Siskel and Ebert, Kevin Costner and Anthony Quinn fight for love and honor in revenge.
Perhaps we both deserve to die. Maybe.
Plus, Dabney Coleman is a dad who tries to teach his rich kids a lesson.
You love it?
That house is a ruin.
I'm giving it to you kids.
I don't think we're really ready to live on our own yet.
Where the Heart Is, this week on Siskel and Ebert.
Saturday at 10:30 on Channel 11.
KHOU TV, Houston. And now, from 11 News in Houston, Steve Smith, Marlene McClinton, Dr. Neil Frank with weather, and Gib Nielsen on sports. This is KHOU 11 News at 10.
By this time tomorrow night, thousands of Kroger supermarket employees who've been walking the picket lines may be walking back onto their jobs. Good evening, everybody. Marlene is on maternity leave. Negotiators for Kroger and its striking unions tonight say it could be back to Krogering as usual soon. Nancy Holland has more on a tentative agreement reached just a short while ago.
Don't stop coming! Don't stop coming!
The walkout began on Sunday, but Kroger employees who have spent days on the picket line may be back on the job within the next 24 hours. The union has already told members to bring down the picket lines. Union negotiators would not give specifics of the tentative contract agreement, but call it an outstanding victory that these employees will be proud of. Negotiators say the breakthrough came when Kroger decided it could up its offer.
It's been a long week. Wish it wouldn't have had to come down this way, but things happen. But the settlement, I feel good about it, and wish for 3 good years.
With that endorsement, union members are expected to accept the contract offer when they vote on it tomorrow. Union officials say if that happens, employees will return to the job immediately. Nancy Holland, 11 News.
Some Houston investors who were denied a horse racing license in Texas are leveling angry charges of bribery and racketeering tonight against some of the state's highest-ranking officials. The Houston Turf Club is suing, claiming those officials were part of a scheme to control the state's fledgling horse racing industry. The suit says state leaders were bribed, and it charges the mastermind of the scheme was Edward DeBartolo Sr., who owns racetracks all over the country.
The only way we can stop their dirty game is with your help and the help of honest elected officials who we feel are in the majority.
The Turf Club's lawsuit names the governor, the attorney general, and the entire Racing Commission of Texas in this alleged conspiracy. In Washington, Governor Clements today was angrily dismissing the allegations that he took any part in any conspiracy. The Turf Club has yet to offer any hard proof to support its allegations, but the group says it will release some evidence tomorrow, evidence said to perhaps include tape-recorded conversations. That proposed commuter tax here, well, it's drawing fire tonight, but its chief backer says it's an idea whose time has come. City Councilman Ernest McGowan says suburbanites who come into Houston to work, then go home to the suburbs, ought to pay a head tax for the privilege of working in the city. $1 a head, he says. He argues they use city services but don't pay for them. he's not swayed by arguments that would drive business and jobs out of the city.
We furnish them with fire protection, police protection, garbage pickup, the strain that's on our sewage system and wastewater system.
The complete interview with McGowan can be heard this Sunday morning at 9:30. City Controller George Granius, appearing live on our 5 o'clock newscast, says he doesn't understand why council is talking taxes at all.
Right now, frankly, our revenues are going up. Almost every area of revenue for the city is moving upward, and the projections for next year are similar. And I'm wondering why, with revenues going up, we don't have enough money to meet the needs that the council perceives.
Several city council members say the commuter tax is dead in the water before it starts, but Mayor Whitmire is saying the idea deserves some study. The nation's Health and Human Services Secretary is coming down hard tonight against tobacco companies that sponsor sporting events. Dr. Lewis Sullivan says cigarette money spent on sports is tainted, stained by addiction and by death, and he wants it stopped. Professional athletes argue otherwise. They say they need sponsor support to keep competing, no matter where that money comes from. For years, tobacco companies have been pouring big money into sporting events and sports stadiums. The advertising is big and expensive, like the huge cigarette sign in the Dome Stadium. It's not the soccer cup, it's the Marlboro Soccer Cup. The women's tennis tournament tour is the Virginia Slims. But critics say the tobacco companies are not selling sports, they're selling death.
During the average period of a championship tennis match, approximately 100 people will die from diseases caused by cigarette smoking.
Dr. Sullivan has joined the chorus of groups calling for an end to tobacco sponsorship of sporting events.
This blood money should not be used to foster a misleading impression that smoking is compatible with good health.
Tobacco companies are legally denied from TV advertising, so they spend their money in other ways. On tennis courts and race courses, no bans there. The industry defends the practice as good for sports and above board.
We've never asked our players to smoke. We've never asked them to endorse smoking.
Fans would not be out here watching incredible tennis today if it wasn't for Philip Morris.
There is no legal force behind today's call for tobacco companies to get out of sports promotion. Meantime, anti-smoking groups say they have what they call more descriptive titles for the sporting events cigarette companies support with their money. Well, there is legal backing for a new federal smoking ban that kicks in this weekend. Starting Sunday, cigarettes will not be an option on almost all U.S. domestic airline flights. The no smoking signs will be lighted permanently on all flights that last 6 hours or less. Signaling smoking is illegal. The ban also covers flights to Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands. Anyone caught trying to sneak a smoke will get slapped with a stiff $1,000 fine. Things are heating up tonight in Nicaragua. Important general elections are set there for Sunday. After more than 10 years of bloody civil war, the people of Nicaragua will finally get a chance to vote in their own government. The Sandinista government has opened up the political process. That's something not known to many in Nicaragua.
Fighting for 8 years. Now I believe I can give peace a chance. I can talk to my enemy.
Former President Carter is one of more than 1,000 foreign observers in Nicaragua helping to ensure fair elections there. In neighboring El Salvador, that country's first democratically elected president has died after a long battle with cancer. Jose Napoleon Duarte led the nation from 1984 to 1989. He was considered a moderate who tried to but failed to bring peace to El Salvador. He was a longtime U.S. ally, and former President Reagan was one of his strongest supporters. His body will lie in state for 3 days. Jose Napoleon Duarte was 64. Well, it's one thing, then it's another thing for the nation's space agency these days. After fighting a cold that delayed the mission, the shuttle commander has now been given a clean bill of health, but torrential rain and high wind forced NASA to delay this secret flight a third day. Liftoff is now scheduled for sometime very early Sunday morning. This military mission is expected to deploy a spy satellite. And still ahead on 11 News tonight, we'll find out what one cowboy competing in the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo does behind the scenes. We'll introduce you to the littlest cowboy in this year's rodeo, just hatched at the Astro Hall. And Galveston Island takes on a Brazilian flavor this Mardi Gras weekend. All that and more when we come back.
11 News is brought to you in part by the Olive Garden Italian restaurants, where all the best of Italy is yours.
At the Olive Garden, at the end of every bowl of crisp salad, every basket of breadsticks, and every smile, you will always find another and another. The Olive Garden Italian restaurant, where all the best of Italy is yours. Come try some exciting new tastes during our Carnival of Venice. Enjoy a variety of hearty Venetian delights in an atmosphere of fun and festivity during the Olive Garden's Carnival of Venice.
Look out, Houston. Here comes the biggest home and garden event in the history of Texas.
Over 1,000 booths with new products and exciting ideas, many at special discounts.
Don't miss the 7,500 square foot designer home.
Exquisite landscaping.
New home information center.
Beautiful flower show.
Seminars and demonstrations.
Register to win hundreds of fantastic prizes.
The Texas Home Show and the Texas Lawn and Garden Show. Two great shows for the price of one. February 23rd through 25th, George R. Brown Convention Center.
See Wednesday's Houston Post or tune to KTRH News Radio 740 AM.
Olds Cutlass Sierra, one of America's best-selling mid-size cars. Cutlass Sierra with the exclusive Olds Edge, 24-hour roadside service, bumper-to-bumper warranty, and we're so sure you'll love your new Cutlass Sierra. If you're not satisfied, bring it back.
We got the deal on your new Oldsmobile.
Cutlass Sierra.
It's a new generation of Olds.
Now with special factory-to-dealer incentives. See your Houston area Olds dealer for details.
A whole lot of people compete in various aspects of the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, and they come here from all over the world. Our Sam Saucedo found one competitor who divides his time between rodeos and movie stunt work.
Russell Sahlberg has two careers. Sometimes he competes in rodeos like he is this week, and other times he's a stuntman, here standing in for John Voight in Runaway Train. Sahlberg is competing in the steer wrestling contest. He had a respectable time last night, but would like to cut it in half and anxiously reviewed tapes of his performance today.
7 and 5/10.
Steer wrestling requires riding skill, timing, and muscle. It is a rough event. So why does he do it?
It's for the love of it. You know, I was raised around it, and it's an adrenaline rush. You know, it's a drug that you don't have to pay for.
He says he's been riding and jumping off horses since he was a kid. His brother also was a steer wrestler, but he broke his neck and is now paralyzed.
If I get hurt rodeoing or if I get hurt doing the stunts, I did it doing what I love to do. And I don't think about getting hurt.
Sahlberg and his wife have been married for 18 months. She sees things a little differently.
The rodeo I love. You know, there's a lot of people that think I'm crazy for letting him do it and thinking it's okay. The stunts, I have to question it every once in a while.
Sahlberg entered 60 rodeos last year. He earned $10,000. He could top last year's income if he's able to win the steer wrestling competition here in Houston. He'll be back in the saddle tomorrow night. Sam Saucedo, 11 News.
And a different flavor, but just as much fun, on the island, Galveston Island, where the final weekend of Mardi Gras is in full swing tonight. The revelers traditionally give their all in these last days just before Fat Tuesday, and the Carnival do Brazil is no exception. Our Dave Failing joins all those folks who are having a ball tonight in Galveston. Dave.
They most certainly are having a ball. This is the Knights of Regina Ball here on Galveston Island, the evening of fantasy ball. The theme tonight is Return to Oz, and as we take a look over here, these folks are obviously with it tonight. We've got the Tin Man and the Good Witch from the Wizard of Oz, and a number of other characters here as we pan across the audience. There was a lot of creative costumes all over Galveston tonight, so this was not the only place where you could get into the spirit of Mardi Gras.
Across the street at the Moody Center, Craig Kovacevic was getting suited up. What does this mean to the school?
It means a lot of fundraising that the school needs, and everybody participates really well because they know it's for a good organization.
The theme of this year's fundraising pageant, Turning Points in History. This is 4-year-old Rance Milchick.
He's an astronaut. He's with the train that has exploration.
And this is 12-year-old Jennifer Maxwell.
Well, I'm supposed to be the Morse code.
The Morse code, oh, because you've got dots and... Then there were the Plaquemires.
My name is Gail Plaquemire, and this is Rusty Plaquemire, and my piece of steel is Alyssa. She and my son are representing Bessemer Steel Products, and he's the workman and she's the building. This hat, we've been through a lot. We had lights in it at first, and that was too heavy, and it fell off. Took the lights out. This is my third chin strap. So I don't know if she's going to make it through tonight with it on or not.
Well, we sure hope that little girl keeps her hat on tonight. We're back live now at the Knights of Regina Ball, and these folks over here are going to be partying until around 1 a.m. And then again tomorrow night there'll be some more balls, and so some of these people could just do it all over again. Won't that be fun? Back to you, Steve.
I suppose. Thank you, Dave. Little Elizabeth definitely was not happy. Can you imagine all those folks coming out of the hotel tonight and having it pouring down rain, which is not going to happen, but it'd be a rough night, wouldn't it?
Well, I sure hope it's not going to rain. But I'll tell you, it is a little bit nippy down there, but it's not all that bad for February. We're going to talk about this cool weather when we come back.
11 News is brought to you in part by the Olive Garden Italian Restaurants, where all the best of Italy is yours.
Here's a simple fact. GMC truck dealers are ranked #1 in compact truck sales satisfaction. #1. Now, here it is in simple English. Compact truck customers get high-quality treatment at GMC truck dealerships. So the choice is simple. Go to your GMC truck dealer, where you're #1 and quality counts.
GMC truck. It's not just a truck anymore.
Have you ever noticed how every furniture store claims to have the lowest prices? The truth is, nobody sells for less than Star, unless, of course, it's lesser furniture. In the unlikely event you should ever find the same furniture at any other store in Texas for less than Star's price, we'll refund 110% of the difference. Now I ask you, can you afford not to shop at Star?
Can you afford not to shop at Star? Star Furniture, Star Furniture.
I have a 25-point program to win the war on drugs, and we can do it without raising taxes. The state owns 61 airplanes, 21,000 cars, 75 print shops. The budget's up 23% in just 2 years. I don't accept that. When I'm governor, we'll cut that fat. Now, the politicians and the bureaucrats will tell you the budget can't be cut. Well, I have a message for them. They don't know Clayton Williams.
Desire. Conflict.
Romance.
Death.
Love. Houston Ballet's Romeo and Juliet. Underwritten by NCNB Texas. Call 227-ARTS.
Well, for late February, it is not bad weather to be down on the island tonight and enjoying all the festivities. Take a look at this. Temperatures are 61 degrees down there. Now, a bit cooler than in Intercontinental, 49 degrees. The skies are still clear, and those winds have dropped off some. Look at that. Northwest 5 to 10, light winds, clear skies. Look for the temperature to move down towards the dew point. The dew point tonight is in mid and upper 30s. So I think in the morning we could see some temperatures down around 35 degrees to the north and west part of the area, probably closer to 40 through the central part of the area, and a little bit warmer than that as you go down on the island. And across the rest of the state tonight, clear skies and cool temperatures. We're looking at temperatures mainly in the 50s tonight, a little cooler than that out in the Panhandle, 41 degrees. And not at all a bad night to be over in New Orleans. They've got clear skies just like we have here. They've got temperatures tonight in the 40s. If you're headed over to New Orleans this weekend, they're going to have nice weather, but it is going to be kind of cool at night. And so I'd take a jacket with me, and if I was going down on the island in the evening, I would certainly take a jacket. They'd ought to have a lot of sunshine tomorrow, though, as we're looking at the possibility of clear skies even through tomorrow. Now, let me show you how these the skies cleared out today. You remember yesterday we were watching that front that had reached the Florida Panhandle, the same front that went through here on Wednesday and gave us all the rain. Now, as we put the satellite pictures in motion, watch the motion of the clouds onto the northeast. Finally, tonight, that front has moved all the way down into Florida, where you've already seen the reports from the Cape, where they were getting some rain showers down there today. Over Florida today, we had rainfall totals of 1 to 1.5 inches. Tampa came in with about 1.5 inches, and temperatures were warm in the southern part of the state at least, 84 degrees at Key West. That breaks a record that goes back to 1878. 88 at West Palm Beach. That's the hot spot in the nation today, but record-breaking temperatures all the way up into Boston. Boston comes in with a 65 degrees. That breaks a record that goes back to 43. Even in New York City, they had a 62 today. Now, behind that front, northerly winds bringing in cooler air. So we had 30s in the Great Lakes, 40s and 50s all the way down to the Gulf Coast. You can see in New Orleans this afternoon, the high was 59 degrees. It might be in the low 60s tomorrow, but it'll be hovering around that as we move into the weekend. Now, in Augusta, Georgia yesterday, they ended up with a 79 degrees. That was a record for the day, and you can see the temperatures dropped into the 60s today as that front moved by. And in the central part of the country and in the west, everything has been on the upturn there as the temperatures really have moved back up. Omaha comes in with a 60. They had a 40 yesterday, 44 in Denver. They're up to 57. And for the first time in about 3 weeks, temperatures got back to 80s in Southern California. That's because the east winds coming around this high. And we had a 79 Phoenix, and Las Vegas got to 70 degrees. This is the first time they've been in the 70s since about a week ago. Now that low, this storm system, that's going to move right on through. We might see that front come through here on Sunday. The only impact on our weather the winds will be picking up. We'll have light northerly winds tomorrow under the influence of this high, and it is going to be a little bit chilly in the morning. Let's take a look at the forecast. How about a 35 over the inland areas tomorrow? Then with a lot of sunshine, we're looking for temperatures to go back up into the upper 60s, and then it'll be a little chilly again on Sunday morning. And I think the winds will be picking up out of the east on Sunday, but not bad weather as we go on into the first part of the week. So for all the activity we got going on here, we need good weather, and it looks like we're going to get it.
And at least you don't shiver anymore when you say 35 degrees.
Well,
you're making progress,
I'm thinking about shivering.
Have a good weekend, Leo. In business news, the stock market ended the week with another loss. The Dow Jones Industrials fell more than 10.5 points to 2,564. Volume considered moderate, 148 million shares. Oil futures prices ended lower. West Texas Intermediate crude dropped 33 cents to settle at $21.42 a barrel. Well, the Rockets made a change or two in the backcourt tonight, and they apparently worked at least for this night. Giff is next with the story of an unusual win on the road. A new and improved battleship is on the move again, heading back in the direction of her longtime home. We'll tell you where she's gone when we come back.
Who could ask for anything more?
Ask him if it has a 5-speed transmission like Isuzu.
Does it have a 5-speed transmission? Well, I'm going to check on that.
Ask him if it has a bigger payload than Isuzu.
Ignore him?
Or better mileage.
Does it? Not exactly. No!
Ask him why it costs hundreds more than Isuzu.
Now, generous factory cash could mean big savings on a pickup during Isuzu's sale into the 90s.
Several months ago, Star Furniture had its greatest single day in history. It was called the Greatest One-Day Sale, and now it's coming back for one more colossal day. All Star stores were closed today to get ready for the return of the Greatest One-Day Sale tomorrow. For one day only, save 15 to 57% on everything. And with Star's famous interest-free financing, you don't pay till June. The Greatest One-Day Sale. It's back Saturday, 10 to 9.
The KHOU Housing Report, a series dedicated to the needs of home buyers and sellers.
We're ready for a new home. Should we buy or lease?
Buying has advantages. You build up equity as you make payments. Your money works for you. It can be a hedge against inflation. There's a tax advantage, and you know it's yours. But leasing makes sense for those who need flexibility or can only make a short-term commitment. No answer is right for everybody. Consider your situation. More tips next time on the KHOU Housing Report.
31 million Americans have no health insurance.
The first question they ask you is, do you have insurance?
Over half of those uninsured work full-time.
We're trying to get on Medicaid, but it's a big runaround.
26% of women have no insurance for maternity care.
During the school years when we had to drop it, we just couldn't afford it anymore.
The cost of living.
If you don't have money and you don't have the proper kind of health insurance, you might as well die.
Watch Susan Starn's special report beginning Tuesday at 10.
Rockets went somewhere else to play a basketball game, and they won one. And how many times has that happened
5.
this year?
That's it, 5. But we'll take them any way we can get them. Well, it took a while, but the Rockets finally found a team they can beat on the road. This was the same Bill Fitch coach team that embarrassed Houston at the Summit in December. Tonight, however, it was another story in New Jersey. Take a look at Sleepy Floyd. He's playing like his job's in jeopardy. It should be. Vernon Maxwell's now on board coast to coast. Fitch a little bit uneasy. Buck Johnson feeds Otis Thorpe. The knees must be feeling better. Thorpe had 20 first-half points, 65-43 Rockets leading at intermission. The new kid on the block, Vernon Maxwell, if he's got shots like this all the time, he'll be playing, finished with 10. Wonder why the Nets are having trouble. Chris Morris shoots it over the backboard. It was just plain and simply Houston's night. The final, the Rockets win easy. They beat the Nets 125-115. On the scoreboard, the Mavericks continue to roll, taking out Indiana 102-91. The Bucks got a game high 31 from former Rice star Ricky Pierce as they edged the Charlotte Hornets tonight. Cleveland upends Orlando. The Heat beat New York in Miami. Atlanta wins by 9 over Detroit. San Antonio takes Minnesota by 10. David Robinson, his third triple-double of the year. And in Chicago, Portland and the Bulls in a physical battle. Chicago wins by 11. In that Hawks game, the Pistons had a 13-game win streak stopped by Atlanta. The Hawks' Kenny Smith with a beautiful pass to Kevin Willis for the jam. And the Russian Alexander Volkov, that's not him, but here he is, makes the good defensive play and rewards Spud Webb on the other end. The final, the Hawks 112, the Pistons 103. In high school basketball, more first-round play in the long road to Austin for the state championship. A doubleheader tonight at Autry Court on the campus of Rice University. In the first game, Madison having its way over Stratford. Philip Chime with a nice slam. Marlins looking good throughout. And off the give and go, number 14, Gay Stephen with the layup. Madison never looked back. The final, Madison 68, Stratford 53. In the nightcap, number 1 ranked Booker T. Washington in the blue. Philip Kent dials long distance and hits the three-pointer. Then Kent, showing his quick hands, makes the steal, goes coast to coast, finishing with the layup. Washington goes on to win 62-45. It'll be a weekend of bargaining for the owners and player representatives as they try to end the baseball lockout. Today, both sides met for 4 hours, a good sign, but it didn't produce any breakthroughs. Union Chief Donald Fear says he's happy the owners' latest proposal shows they are willing to negotiate, but he's quick to add the two sides are still miles apart.
One cannot forget that there still is a lockout in effect. Players are not in camp. They are not getting into condition. And each day that passes makes it that much less likely that opening day games are going to be able to play as scheduled. In addition, the mere presence of the lockout makes it considerably more difficult for us to negotiate on an intensive basis.
The Astros should have been finishing up their first full week of spring training tonight. Pitcher Jim Deshaies is the club's player representative. Earlier on our 5 o'clock broadcast, Jim told us he's hoping something can be worked out very soon.
The fact that they talked basically all day today has to be a positive sign. So hopefully we can get something hammered out by early next week. And if we do, I don't think we're going to lose opening day.
Well, the Players Union also repeated its threat. It will suspend negotiations if more progress isn't made soon. Well, news from the NFL. The man who's headed the league's drug testing program has asked to be replaced. Dr. Forrest Tennant, who's been the subject of several critical media reports, has submitted his resignation effective April 1st. Tennant is accused of covering up the drug tests of 3 starting white quarterbacks because they had tested positive for illegal drug use, charges he denies. Tennant says he's resigning because of other commitments. And in tennis, John McEnroe may not be allowed to play in one of the Grand Slam tournaments this year. McEnroe, who continues to feud on and off the court with tennis officials, lost his latest appeal today. It all stems from his problems in the Australian Open last month. Playing perhaps his best tennis in several years, McEnroe became frustrated with himself in the 4th-round match against Sweden's Michael Pernfors. He was warned once for unsportsmanlike conduct, docked a penalty point for throwing his racket, and then lost the entire match after saying some things he probably shouldn't have to the referee in the high chair. McEnroe, as well as most everyone in the sport, was surprised by the decision, especially when he learned he would be fined $6,500. If he is fined another $1,000 this year, McEnroe will be banned from the next Grand Slam event, likely Wimbledon or the U.S. Open. And in women's basketball, the University of Texas Lady Longhorns, their Southwest Conference winning streak ended tonight at 132 games. The Hogs from Arkansas beat the Lady Longhorns 82-77, the Horns' first loss ever in conference play, and that's quite an accomplishment.
Why do I think McEnroe's going to get in trouble again before the year is out?
It's only going to be $1,000. $1,000.
All right, have a good week. Have a good weekend. The old battleship Texas is in a new port tonight. A fleet of tugboats helped escort the grand old fighting lady from her renovation dock at Galveston's Todd Shipyards to a temporary home at a Greens biopier near the Port of Houston. Restoration of the ship is almost complete. Cost of the project, $14 million. But does she look good or what? Sometime this summer, the Texas will be brought back to its brand new refurbished berth at San Jacinto State Park. And still to come tonight, an ostrich with an identity crisis. Is it a he or is it a she?